Well, hi, students. Today, I'm going to give you a short messages of advice on clarifying what exactly the campaign goals should be for your particular client in that situation you've been given. Uh, as a learning experience, I want you to determine from your secondary research and your recommended primary research what the goal is that your agency could achieve. It may not necessarily be the overwhelming, detailed, goal that the company set out or the organization set out to hire you for. And that's okay. I want you to learn from this experience and determine what public relations communications can achieve and what might be a business or organizational goal that you really can't affect. Okay, so let's talk about diagnosing the problem or the opportunity. That's an essential role in public relations practitioners have to play within a larger organization. Now, often PR is relied upon to be the interpreter for management. That's why they often go to outside PR firms and not work internally. They want to bring in fresh eyes, fresh brains, right, to interpret what is happening, what they should do. So that's what your SWOT analysis has allowed you to do. Now, it's important, as I mentioned earlier, to understand the distinction between organization operations or business goals and communication or public relations goals. For example, an organizational or business goal could be increasing profits and income, but the PR goal in response to that would be improving reputation. So you have to build communication goals from organization goals. Now, a communication goal is the overarching long-term desired outcome that a particular communication campaign attempts to accomplish. Now, next week, we're studying objectives, and those are specific and they will help you reach your broad goal. And there are some readings this week that can help you understand this. So when setting goals, how do practitioners know which of the issues, challenges, or opportunities to tackle first, right? Consider what's the main problem. Is it, in some cases, perhaps of immediate concern? What can you address most quickly? How much does this issue affect the organization? What impact can PR have, right? What's the reasonable positive response that you could expect in attempting to reach this goal? Sometimes goals may be a first stage, going beyond what the infographic you're seeing on this slide that you need to achieve. Maybe it's just awareness, right? But hopefully, we'll take it through different steps: awareness, knowledge gaining, attitude formation, and action taking, if that is necessary to reach the broader goal of your client. So the goal setting process, you focus on a broad goal that's clearly relevant to the organization, but also focus on areas where communication itself can make the difference. So inherently, the process of planning a PR campaign will uncover many challenges that can't be addressed through communication alone. So realizing this, it's critical for you to set goals based on the areas where improved communication and PR strategies and tactics will have the greatest impact. Now, PR practitioners cannot accomplish everything. First, communication itself has limits, right? So if you have identified certain publics for outreach, consider the importance of that specific audience, the organization's priorities with that audience, and the potential impact that your communication program or PR program would have on them. So your approaches should be based on the answers to those points, right? Consider the importance of that specific audience you've identified, how they are relevant to the organization's priorities, and the potential impact of public relations strategies, communication tactics. So, goal writing requires defining I'm just repeating myself and reading the slide, decide the desired overall change. Clearly identify this. Your objectives will be more specific. Often students make the mistake of putting an objective into a goal as a goal. No, 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 right? The specific objectives feed into the goal, and you'll deal with those next week. If they come up in your brainstorming, put them aside and remember them next week. Okay. So the objectives reach the goal in different directions, maybe concerning different publics. Those come next week. This week is the broad overall change. So remember, and again, I'm reading off the slide here. A goal should be broad rather than specific, general rather than measurable, aspirational rather than attainable, visionary. This is my ideal. Open-ended rather than time-bound. And then, once you establish that desirable overall broad goal, then you deliberate and strategize how. How are we going to reach that goal? Coming from different directions. So we start with learning about the overall goal this week in week 5. Next week, week 6, you'll learn about objectives. In week 7, we move to strategy. And then in week 8, we move to theory and media planning. And then finally in week 9, tactics. They're all interconnected. So here's the PR process. You begin at the top. What are you trying to achieve? And that helps you define the objectives, what need to be done to achieve that goal, perhaps coming from different directions, different strategies. And then get down to strategies, those methods and capabilities to achieve that objective. Okay. Social media, events, etc. And then when we get into tactics, those are the specific activities to implement that strategy. And those will be measurable. Those will be measurable. And you'll see this on some of the readings for this week and next week. So I have an invitation for you to do this on your own, to crowdsource goal setting for your client's campaign. I'm just going to read this slide, and I also have this uploaded in your content area for week 5. Maybe use a Google Doc. Maybe sit around a table and do this. Strategy directors complete the 3 items below. Propose a campaign goal, ask a question about it, answer your question. And then the others in your team build upon the ideas. Each agency member should add to or comment on your original solution. And there's an example on the side. Say your goal is create a supportive culture for new employees. That's the main problem or a main opportunity, whatever situation that the client wants. To cultivate a holistic culture for new employees. Question, can improved internal, right, communication raise awareness for new employee incentives? Benefits? Answer, yes, with the cooperation of internal stakeholders. So that's something that we could build into objectives, strategies, and tactics. So that's just an idea. Hopefully you'll do it and give me some feedback and how it was. But that's the end of our recording today. And I will welcome you to